allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have a moment of solidarity for our town, our council members, and our country. Amen.
Amen.
All right. It is Tuesday evening, May 2nd, 2023, 5:30 evening, we're at Municipal Center. Can I have a roll call, please?
Scott Murphy.
Here.
Rick Weber. Rick Warning.
Here.
Rose Jackson. Here. Elizabeth Skinner. Here. Chris Chapman.
Here.
Susan Webster's here. We have a quorum.
Good deal. Can we have a review of the minutes from our council meeting from April 18th, 2023? Take any additions or corrections and common consent. Everything looked good to me, but I don't know if anybody caught anything or not. So everything good? Common consent, guys? Okay. All right, let's move on to persons before council, because there's a lot of people in here this evening. Larry Landon, they requested last month, St. Vincent's de Paul Catholic Church to adopt a section of Liberty Street and South Washington, from South Washington to Mercer Street. Also requested a fire lane at the corner of Bath Street. We tabled this until this month. I don't know if council has reviewed it. Chief, have you looked at that or haven't had time? Okay. What, as far as the fire lane and everything down there, were you able to look at it this past month or the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, I was. So on that particular section of that side of the church,
Yeah.
it does, if they keep that open, it does work pretty well, especially during the farmers market activities.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be able to look at that.
All right.
Is
So,
it possible for the church, I mean, not the church, but the folks, with the farmers market, they put the cones and all up, you know, on the other side of the street like that. Could they put cones up on what you may consider a more tight area of Bath Street during the really congested time?
Like we do for funerals.
Like,
I mean, we
or anything,
yes, we can, to answer your
just
question.
during the really rough, you know, when it is, I see it, it is.
Right, the challenge we run into after morning mass, you know, we're out of there by 11 or 10:30.
Yeah.
And then our phones are out there, and then if somebody has to come back.
I think the farmers market would put them up.
Okay.
I think
If
they
they'd agree to
would.
it, I'm
Why
fine
don't
with
we
it.
ask?
I think that
yeah,
would.
let's see if
them
they,
and
yeah,
see if they
let's see
would.
if they will. That would be, that's a good
Because then
suggestion,
that's
so.
something you wouldn't have to think of, and they'll just add to their stuff, because they do that anyway.
Okay.
Wait,
I'll
so-
Let's
ask
see what,
them.
let's see
I'll
what we
ask
can
them.
work out.
Okay.
All right.
And Mr. Mayor, on the other half, we did, as we discussed last time, we have the letter that we sent over to the bank, and so they are currently reviewing it, so I don't have anything to present you this
Okay.
time on that, so,
Okay.
as far as my view, we're tabling that until they get the response.
Okay, let's table that
Our
until we get a
formal request.
response, then we can go from there. How about that?
Sounds great.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks, Larry.
Well, we don't wanna table, we'll take it, let's not table it, because that forces us to bring it up at the
Next
next
time.
meeting, if we don't have anything.
Well,
If
let's
we
ask-
do have something,
Let's
we
ask
can-
Larry,
Just
can
let us-
you, once you get something from citizens, yay or nay or whatever, give us, you're down here, just give Sharon, let her know you need to get on the agenda.
Okay.
And then we'll go from there. That way we don't have to keep tabling it. If you don't get anything right away, we'll just get you back on the agenda. Okay? Sounds good? Okay, thank you. All right, next person before council is Lynn Dunham.
I want to thank you very much for letting Jim Michael and myself come in. We represent the Eastern Panhandle Conservation District, and we would like to give you a little bit of information on Dam 7. The dam is not operative right now, L13. And Jim wants to give you some more information about another subject matter dealing with the state and with NRCS, the federal in the state and the EPCD. This is Don Wetzel, who is the watershed manager north for the West Virginia Conservation Agency. He got real ill, and he gave me a little blurb on the current status from the state's viewpoint of the data set. See that
All I
number?
see is that number, all I see is that big number.
Anyway, what Don provided was that there's an engineering firm that has been hired and worked with the issues at Dam 7 for up to the present. And they will continue on until the dam is either rebuilt or whatever we end up, whatever's done. Test is the name of this firm, and it has a preliminary design, mostly finished for the repair. However, it would move the auxiliary spillway right at the present, if you were standing in the dam looking out. The auxiliary or emergency spillway is to the left. And what that is, therefore, and each of our dams has one of these, so that the flooding water doesn't come too high in the riser. Each dam has a big concrete riser in it, and it doesn't overflow the dam itself. They have an emergency spillway that's a little lower than the crown of the dam. They feel that it would be better to, like I say, currently it's on the left side. They feel it would be better to put the emergency spillway on the right side so that the flow would be more direct if it did overflow. And it wouldn't, if it went left, it would have to swing around and you'd pick up a lot more refuge and soil and carry it on down towards 13, and then hard to tell what it would do. So anyway, it would.
Lynn,
It's-
can I ask you something?
Mhm.
Okay, all right, Dam 7, is that the one in Sugar Hollow?
No,
No, it's the one on 13, right close to Wall Road.
first
Oh, okay.
First
Gotcha.
left,
Gotcha,
first
gotcha,
dam to the left.
Gotcha, okay,
You can't see it from 13. It's up over there.
okay, all right, all right.
Anyway, in moving the auxiliary spillway to the other side of the dam, this will require additional drilling. What they've been doing, the engineering company last year drilled the dam itself. And what initially started this all was during the heavy rains we had, I think that was in 19 or 20. It was discovered that there was a seepage of soils that we had never seen before coming out underneath the drain pipe. And so this really perked everybody's ears. There's something bad going on somewhere here. Where is this coming from? So it ended up that they got a dam safety, DEP involved in it. And they're the enforcement agency for the state, for dams. And they worked with us, and NRCS helped on their input also. And they found out that we would have to drain the dam, which was done. And then they found that one of the pipes that was put in the 50s, these dams were all the dams around Berkeley were built in the 50s. So there's some of the oldest in Virginia. And the drain area, the pipe that goes up into the concrete stanchion, and then we go on through the dam and out. It was plugged up or broken, so the water wasn't coming directly. It was picking up deposits inside the pool of the dam and carrying it out. That's how we didn't know whether it was a spring in the hillside there or a spring in the dam, because there was a good bit of water that was coming out underneath the drain pipe. So anyway, after they drained the pipe, this company, Potesta, last spring and winter, they did a lot of drilling in the dam to see if there was any open areas in the dam. could have been that some of this drainage deposits had washed out inside the dam itself and made caverns down inside. Anyway, what they discovered thus far, there wasn't really any, but there was problems with the drainage pipe area, and they're going to continue to do more testing. Of course, we all know that engineering firms, and they're specialists, but they're very expensive. Conservation District has, and monies that we had gotten from the state, we put in about 140,000 so far just in engineering studies.
And what was the name of the engineering company, if I might ask again?
Potesta.
Potesta.
Yeah. They say they were hoping to have the let's see, this will require additional drilling. So additional drilling is going to be required in geotechnical testing for the proposed area that would become the spillway. They're hoping that to have that completed this summer and final design finalized with possibility going to contract by fall. The current estimate is now between $7 and $9 million to basically replace the dam. That's what it looks like now. So it would be a complete tear down of what's there now, get rid of that material, and bring the material that's there is what we have in Morgan County, shale. It looks like a lot of it looks like shale, and we know that that's not perfect for dam sites. You need more clay involved. I mean, there was some clay there, but it's not the perfect situation for
So
dams.
then you're not asking us for $7 to $9
Well,
million.
we wanted to talk.
Unless we have it, of course.
We thought if we could put installment funds over 200 years, maybe. No.
All right.
The state is already, we have an account at the Eastern Panhandle, and the state has already given us over $4 million. So we have an account to get started on.
What a state.
It is. And I think it's just wonderful that they can afford to do that,
Yeah, that's what they do.
because,
Right.
the town and the county could.
We'd never be able to afford $7 to $9 million.
It was their
That's
DEP that came in and said you had to do it anyway, so,
Mhm.
yeah,
So-
so.
And-
Right.
So my biggest concern, if it happens to one dam, while they're doing this, I sure hope it doesn't.
happened to the other ones since they were built all at the same time.
How long has this one been in operational, if I might ask?
Jim was around when this was all started.
Well, since the late, somewhere in the mid-50s or late 50s, it's been in operation ever since that.
No, I mean, since it's become inoperable and it's been drained, how long has it
Well,
been?
truthfully speaking, this issue's been going on for quite a long time.
Well, the reason I ask is just the relevancy of
But
that kind
it's-
of money
it's
and
not-
resources,
Well, no, it wasn't really discovered
Mhm.
until they had this one flow, or this one hard rain come in.
And I understand how the clay capping goes and how the clay layers go. My father was a bridge and dam engineer, and so it doesn't matter how long in my job, they'll get
Some
all
of it
clay.
might have been some original development of the dam.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we know what's going on there, so we'll keep us updated if you would, Lynn. You all keep us updated as everything's moving along.
And in relation to that, we understand that you already allocated 2,000 for us. And we really
Which is the
appreciate
agreement there. So,
I would start
May I
off
have
by
a copy of
commending
that?
this town council and the county of Morgan for the efforts they've kept through the years. I've watched these programs, I've worked them for years, but we have a great effort. Talking about the future, you all heard of the infrastructure program in the last year and the movement of so much money. And of course, Warm Springs Run, it was in that, as well as Sleepy Creek And those received approvals from NRCS, but we haven't got the specifics on it yet.
Right.
The Washington office hasn't really give us permission to move on that, but I think that's an excellent time to reevaluate the Warm Springs run, because with highway building and other things, there's quite a change, isn't there?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
We look forward to working with you all on that, because you all put in your request to go with infrastructure too, and that's what we need.
right, absolutely.
One other point I'd like to bring out is the work that was done in the past 6 months on cleaning out the stream under Washington Street. I worked with Jason Hoover, but he's an emergency specialist now with the county commission on their staff. He went right to it, and we had DOH, and I don't know whether you all noticed, but they worked and went under town there, and I saw where they took out at least 6 or 8 loads of dirt out of right there under Washington Street, and they tell me they didn't quite get it all yet, but it's working good. They also went around, worked on cleaning up the stream down in several of these bridges down in the western downtown there and so on. So I'm just proud to be here, and thank you all for all the efforts you do.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks for the update. We do have on the agenda about the Town of Bath Berkeley Springs Flood Control Operation Maintenance Funding Agreement. I will bring that to the attention of the council.
We already have it in the budget, so.
It's already in the budget, so we just need to make it legal. So if somebody wants to make a motion,
So maybe.
Second.
have a motion, a second on the floor, to again, give our Town of Bath, contribute, funds at $2,000. The Town of Bath, Flood Control Operation Maintenance Funding Agreement. Do we have any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. So we've got that taken care of too. So thanks for the update,
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you
Appreciate
for
it.
the
Keep
support.
us, kind of in the loop on the dam up there as things progress.
Definitely. And thank all of you for being on the council. It's tough today sometimes to get people to work on committees and teams, and I think it's great, especially when some of the younger, less gray-haired people are on. I'm still younger than you.
That would be me.
The only one that sees that would apply
If you have any questions at all, get a hold of Jim or I.
Okay,
And if there's ever any issues, you know.
Know where you are.
Okay.
we'll find you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next order of business is going to be Charlie in reference to street closings. So I'll give him the floor, and we'll go from there.
Just refresh everybody's memory. A day before the last meeting, Sue and I got the first official notice that they were closing down Fairfax.
Okay.
This was coming Friday. And we were very concerned because it said it was starting at 3 p.m. Well, we found later that the street was going to be closed at noon. That's just wrong in itself. But let me go through this. If an individual or group wants to close down a street, and I don't know if the council wants to adopt this as a policy or ordinance, whatever, just a suggestion. Those individuals or groups need to contact every business owner and property owner on the street and get written approval for shutting that street down, especially on a Monday through Friday, because there's deliveries being done, there's maintenance coming in from people. If you have to reschedule some of those things, sometimes you're popping them out weeks to months. So you need to consider that. Also, when they approach the businesses, they should have a layout of what is going to be where on the street, and that the fire chief has already signed off and he's okay with that, and the number of vendors and who they are. And as the property owners and the business owners should be seeing this schematic and signing. That's what they be signing off on. They've seen this and they know all the times and the dates of when these streets are gonna be closed. The other thing we haven't seen is, has there been arrangements for the trash pickup, the extra trash pickup? Because what we found out yesterday is that the number of vendors has doubled since the request was made. And that the council was blatantly lied to on March 21st, if you watch the video of the town council meeting, when Rick Weber asked if every business owner had been contacted and coordinated with, and we had been told yes, and that was false. That needs to be changed. And that the sidewalks in front of the businesses can't be encroached on without approval of the businesses. And the final approval by the council needs to be that final approval based on that initial request. If any change is made, it needs to come back and go through the process again. But to be, for you guys, and I apologize for you guys being lied to.
Well, I honestly, Charlie, I don't think that we were really lied to. There was so much going on in that meeting anyway. I thought about this good and hard and good and long. I don't know what kind of compromise we can come up with, honestly. We've never had a problem closing streets down for special events, Apple Butter Festival, food festival like they're going to have, the Mountain State Cruisers. We've never had a problem. We've never had a problem until now. I understand that you guys think that additional parking, but you're going to have so many people walking around. It's going to be like the Apple Butter Festival. I'm understanding there's going to be a lot of people here, evidently. I think it would be better for businesses. And this is just my personal opinion. I don't have a vote. But my personal opinion is, I don't think we need to add another ordinance to downtown when we've got groups in town, including yourself, if you would want to do a special event. I mean, if we did something like this and interacted it right now, as it's stated, we would have to have every business in town for the Apple Butter Festival sign off. We had one business that said no, we would have to cancel the Apple Butter Festival.
No, apple butter is a different thing, and I mentioned that at the last meeting. Apple butter, when this apple butter is done, when the next one is gonna be, in a year in advance, when the next apple butter is gonna be. You can plan for it. But to have, a 2-week notice that this is going on, you really can't plan
Well,
for it.
some of your suggestions aren't bad at all, and there should be a little bit of time, which I believe that we did have. I think 4 weeks is plenty of time, for business to be notified and to know what's going on and to plan for it and plan actually promotions and be involved in it. And, I've had a downtown business for about 23 years. And if there was something going on, I looked for ways to be involved in it and have a table or, try to take advantage of the opportunity of possibly new people coming into my place of business and new business. So I looked at these things more positively. And
Well, the thing, our main concern is the parking. On a Friday afternoon until 5 o'clock, the courthouse parking is full. The parking lot behind the bank is full. It doesn't start empty until 4:30, 5 o'clock. Now, if it was when we first heard about this, and the rumor was it was gonna start between 5 and 5:30, we had no problem because, there would be parking. So I don't know where the people are gonna park that are gonna be walking around between, 2 and 5, but
Liberty Street, North Washington Street.
Like I said,
Hey, listen, there's another thing. Now, I just said I was in business for 23 years, right downtown, had nothing but metered parking. And I'm gonna tell you something, Regina knows my business. It rocked and rolled. If you're giving people something they want, they'll walk a couple blocks to it. We found that out, didn't we, Regina?
Well, it was a bar.
Yeah,
But,
well, and anything else, if you have something people want, I was just at the mall in Winchester Saturday evening. We had to park at least 2.5 blocks away from the restaurant we were going to, and you know what? We didn't think a thing of it. We went in, had a nice dinner, and walked 2.5 blocks back. I don't know, that's how I would look at it if I was downtown and I would look at it as an opportunity.
that's, I think, we're kind of getting off the track because we want to bring businesses in. I think the food business, the food trucks, plus we're going to have the Mountain State Cruisers there at the same time, which they normally generate a lot of people coming into town. I mean, there's been things that I have agreed with you guys on, but this part I do not agree with. But like I said, this is up to the governing body, which is the council that can vote. I have no vote, but I just feel doing this is going to stop places from wanting to do any type of special events down around our park. The parking over there, I mean, I've gotten a parking space over there in the lot when they've had grand jury in. So, I mean, yeah, it may be tight and it might be tough, but I mean, I mean, that's a huge parking lot. So
I wouldn't say voting on this evening is necessary. I mean, we could look at it. We just got this one paper tonight. I mean, we can look at it and see if there's something.
if you all want to
that we
turn,
can- I don't know what
table
you
it
might
to,
wanna do.
like I said, I mean, my main thing is we all need to get along some way, somehow.
And there
I
should
don't
be
know how to
respect.
do that because
Yeah.
we've got, we've got this situation and we got food trucks coming in. We got, like I said, there's a lot of things that happen all summer long down there at that park. We got music in the park
Mhm.
on Saturdays. We've got, the food vendor show. We've got another request in here for something going on downtown. I mean, I think what we need to do is we need to get, probably the organization needs to get with the people. I think that's where it needs to go. The organization needs to get with the people, talk with the people, say, look, we're going to do this event. We want you to know that this is going to go on. This is going to be the date. We've approached the town council and they've given us the blessing for closing the street.
I think that there ought to be to the business owners before they come to the town council so that they know what they're really asking for. I mean, it comes down to respect and courtesy.
Well, can you take that back to the meeting, to the chamber meeting then?
I mean,
Your
you could-
request?
like I said, I mean, I feel if we, instead of doing another, and this is my feeling, instead of doing another ordinance, I think we just need to get the organizations that are coming into town, the Mountain State Cruisers. I mean, just kind of talk to people, make it well known that this is what we're going to do. Mountain State Cruisers, we know they're going to be once a month on a Friday night. We know they're going to be there on Father's Day. If the chamber, which is putting on this event, if they come along and say, okay, we're going to do a food truck thingamabob and we're going to do it downtown, maybe put it out to the businesses, all businesses, not just, all the businesses, everybody. That includes everybody, whether we're not talking to each other or we're not, whatever. We put it out to the businesses, say, we're planning on doing this. Let the businesses know, even if we have to walk down and give them a piece of paper saying, we're going to do a food truck event, or we're going to do, something in the park, and we're going to have the town close the street down, and get everybody on the same page, because I think this could be a good thing for everybody. I really do. I've seen with food trucks and stuff that's done at Apple Butter on that particular stretch of street. When the people come in, they're milling everywhere. They're milling in the park. They're over at your all's business. I've seen it happen. So
I'd like to say something.
Yeah.
The only problem I have is that at Apple Butter, they never block our businesses. They park on the side and there's tables and chairs that they put out. The people that do the cars, they are the same way. They're respectful. I understand that we don't want our businesses blocked. We want the organizers who are doing the event to make sure that they don't block us off. You know, they want to, have their food trucks on that side by the park. It's fine. You know, I mean, I think it just got out of hand. I think it started out as a block party with a few food trucks and has turned into a food truck rally. And I don't think that they should block our businesses. And I don't think they should block people who are pulling into the park. I understand how they feel because people are pulling in there. They aren't just going to the bar. They're going to get a package of painting, or they're coming to the cheese shop to buy cheese. And it's different. And I know that's not your responsibility. You're making a decision whether they're going to block off the street or not. It's up to the organization to make sure that they don't offend or encroach upon the businesses.
The problem I have with that is if you got people walking in the street and everything else, I'd rather have the street shut down so nobody gets run over. Whether you have anything on the side where your guys' business is for safety, safety respect. I mean, the Mountain State Cruisers, when they do their thing, their cars are in the park.
Right.
Okay. So 95% of the people you have coming in are walking through the park to look at the cars. Then they're walking up to the sidewalk if there's a food truck there or whatever. That's kind of a different situation. So
God forbid if it happened, but the fire hydrant sits right in the middle on the business side of the street. If there's a fire, how does the fire department get to that fire plug?
they have a way to do it. Believe me, I was in the fire department 30 years and I've had that situation as being a fire officer, and the vehicle got pushed by the fire truck out of the way.
Real quick, what time, this is from 2 to
To 8. Or
3 to
8
9?
to
9.
9.
3 to 9.
So
3 to 9.
3 to 9, yeah.
Some day, 6 hours.
Justin Andrews, thank you guys for your, Charlie, thank you. I came to figure out what's going on. and
Okay.
Kind of
Yeah.
understand what's the problems
Because
were.
I got an email from the chamber saying, no, in fact, they did not come and talk to all the businesses.
So I think the original request was from noon
right.
on, so we made some concessions there, pushed back. I think we're gonna do one side of the street, is my understanding now, until 1 o'clock. So one half of the street. The food trucks are gonna be on the park side, to my understanding. I don't, from what I currently know, understand that the food trucks are gonna be blocking the businesses. So you should have one side.
I was told yesterday by Happy, the food trucks, or Sunday, the food trucks were gonna be both sides and there was gonna be a pathway down the middle.
Okay.
But they were gonna be on both sides. That's what she
I've
told
given
me.
express permission
That's
for
great.
them to put them in front of my business and use my power.
So
So
great. Okay.
if you see them in front of my shop.
So they're gonna be on, so what they have now is they're gonna be on both sides of the street and there's gonna be so they're gonna walk down the middle of the street to
Right.
go to the food truck. So
Right.
they're not gonna go to the businesses.
No, I beg to differ with you. If somebody sees and is interested in something, they're probably gonna go to the business.
Well,
But
that's-
anyway, I
That's a
think
good concern.
yeah, very good concern all the way around. I think what we need to do, I have to agree with Regina. It kind of got kind of a little bit out of control. We first started on that side towards the park, and then of course more trucks signed up, so we kind of come across. I'd say this time do it, but let's all get together with organizations. Let's not have this feuding and carrying on and whatever's going on in this community.
That's all we're asking.
I mean,
Yeah, great.
let's
Good.
rather than the town council have to interact something, and then that means we have to totally enforce something that's going on during an event from the chamber or an event from the cruisers or whatever. Let's get together. Let's get our heads together. Let's make this town, let's make this town great. Let's do things and do it together, not
I agree on that.
and so I would say to members that are here from the chamber, if you put on an event, let's let all businesses, I don't care who they are, all businesses know, whether, there's a beef or whatever's going on, you need to let all businesses know. Same thing with,
Do you have a recommendation on how to let everyone know here at the
if it
council?
was
Sign
me,
for it.
if it was me, I would probably send out a letter.
Okay.
Maybe 6-8 weeks before saying, look, we're thinking about doing this. we want to let you know that this is where
Okay.
we're coming at.
We've been
That's
using-
what I would do. That way you could say, hey, we sent out a form letter to everybody that's a business. You know, I'm sorry if they, you know, something happens and they don't get that mail. But then I would maybe even visit the businesses, maybe one or two people go down and visit the businesses. I mean, I think we need to get on the same page all the way around. I mean, I think it's a good event to bring to town. I love it when the Mountain State Cruisers come. I love it when we can have something going on in this community every weekend.
Yeah, frankly, that evening that we approved all this, we were just tickled that there was all this
Yeah.
activity was gonna be
Yeah, we're getting-
after being
getting
through
this
what
foot
we've been
traffic,
through. We
right.
were, you know. just
So
happy
I
to
would say
roll.
to organizations that are going to propose something to the council, let's make sure that you talk to everybody. And if we find out that you don't, or whoever the organization is, and it comes back like this situation here, then we're going to, then the council will have to get into it.
So what if they get an objection? What are they just let's drop the event? I mean, what is
Well,
the expectation?
The problem is, I mean, we ultimately, as the town council, have a right to close the roads in our community. Okay, so if the organization comes and says, hey, we've talked to everybody, we got one person that, I'm not gonna stop the event from going on because there's one person that objects to it. Because this is what small town America is all about. I mean, I can remember growing up in Hancock. I mean, there was weekends we had stuff going on everywhere over there. I've been on the fire department for 30 years. I mean, we were always doing something in the community as far as, you know, whether it would be up and down Main Street over there and on both sides of the street. I don't ever remember. And even here, I mean, we've closed street for years. I've been here since 2006. Susan's been here a lot longer. And I don't ever remember us having a problem with closing the street. I don't remember.
I know I don't live, I used to live up here on that's where I was raised, up here on Fairfax Street. I know that there's a lot of people that are against the bypass, but I think you're gonna have an opportunity to shut down streets and do business great. I really feel it's gonna help the town. You're gonna have to decide how you work together and draw those people in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We all have to be on the same page.
Because I think it's gonna be a great venue for the town.
Yeah, so,
Hopefully.
yeah, Barb.
I just want to say, I've had a business downtown for 12 years. When when the Apple Butter Festival happened, we were handed out, somebody came and gave us posters to put in our window, to put in the shops, so that we could give them to people as they came in. That has not happened with the food truck thing. And I can assure you it has not happened. And you're absolutely right. If you're going to do an event and it's sponsored by XYZ, everybody has to be included. The only way Berkeley Springs is going to survive is if you include everybody in the community.
Absolutely.
Whether you're a
Yes.
member or not.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the thing about this community. And I don't know how and when we ever got so doggone divided with this whole situation. I don't know how it happened or why it happened.
Pick me.
No,
Because I'm
you
ready
can
to tell them where it
But
comes from.
anyway, the whole situation is everybody needs to be included. Everybody.
And
You know,
consider.
And consider. We got to work together because we're small town America. And if we don't work together, nothing happens. Okay. I mean, we're left out here to do what we need to do to survive and make money and keep our community running.
We don't
Okay.
have lobbyists, we have neighbors, and that's all we have.
So, you know, yeah.
With the idea of planning events and trying to be as inclusive to everyone as possible, also each person needs to understand that not everything is going to benefit their one business. You know, I have a shop on Fairfax. Some things help my business. Some things help other people's businesses on other parts of the town.
Yep.
And that's okay. I like that, you know? So we all need to make sure we also support each other and be like, okay, if this one's not my jam, that's all right.
Yeah, but the
I'll
thing
make
about
my
it
back
is you
on
gotta
the other.
support everybody.
Or, exactly, support it if it's helping the
Right,
other people.
absolutely.
Then if
Or
that's-
find a way to make it work for your business.
And this event is 6 hours.
I have additional product and staff coming
6
in for
hours.
this event to
Yeah.
make it work for me.
We're gonna spend
Right.
12 hours.
But what I'm
talking about
saying is, I'm not gonna be the dead horse here right now. I'm not gonna do it. Like I said, we just need to be on the same page. This community will work. All of us will benefit. Charlie, Sue will benefit. The chamber will benefit. Regina will benefit. We'll be able to make it, but we gotta be on the same page.
I
And-
won't have to fix dinner that night.
This,
Benefit.
this divides us. And when we're divided, we don't get anything done in this community. You've seen it time and time again right now. So let's get together. Let's get our heads together when we plan an event. Have a planning meeting. Put out there. And if the people don't show up, then they don't show up. But at least you tried. You have a planning meeting, come along, and I understand, but you've got to make something work.
That's why we're here, right?
I'll be
Absolutely.
there Friday night.
So, like I said, I think let's
Sounds like good.
get our heads together. Let's make it work without having to do a bunch of ordinances and stuff where then we've got to have a police officer down there, police and everything. You're parked over there too far or whatever. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Okay? Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Do you
All
have
right.
an extra copy of it?
Let's move along. Communications from the mayor. We have in our packet another situation, and we're gonna have to get with this group. We have, we have, on the 24th of June, they want to do Berkeley Springs Pride. They would like to observe parking meters on Fairfax and Washington Street, on the side of the state park, okay, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So we can hold our Pride in the park again this year. So
Well, it says,
they're going to be on one side of the street.
no, it says food trucks will be in place by 11. Once they are in place, any remaining parking places will be available to the general public.
Okay, but they're only asking for meters,
Well,
parking
have
meters
they
for
done the
Fairfax and
very thing
Washington.
we just talked about? Have they
Yeah.
contacted business?
Yeah, so we need to send a letter back to them stating that they need to go ahead, any businesses that are affected or all businesses in town be contacted, whether it's with and I hate to do that, but like I said, so that every business knows what's going on and then they can come before council. Yeah.
Can you just repeat the date?
The 24th, which is a Saturday, June 24th.
So so let me get this straight. So they're getting free meters. They're blocking off the meters on Saturday for that whole day. Is that what they're
No.
asking?
No.
No, I thought that's what he just said from.
According to this, it says they want to reserve the meters.
Oh, so they don't want
So-
anybody to park there.
Well,
It's
then,
not all the meters.
yeah, because then if we,
Fairfax Street.
we give,
It's
that's,
It's just till 11 o'clock. I think they have 5 food trucks coming. They would like the trucks are gonna be there by 11. They would like all of the meters free so the food trucks can get placed and then everything is opened up. That's my understanding.
yeah, that's like I
That's
said,
my
so,
understanding
then-
too.
They
know.
don't wanna keep people from parking either.
No.
They want people there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they want people there.
yeah.
So,
So now I'm thinking,
That's how I
because they did last year, they didn't do both sides of the street.
No, they
They
didn't.
did the south side of Fairfax Street.
I think that's one thing we should try to do is keep things at one side of the street.
I don't care.
That's originally what we talked about. It just,
Okay,
there are other
well,
places in town where food trucks really plays well.
now, like I said, I think they need to just let the businesses know, just like we told the chamber, what's fair for Charlie and them, and the chamber and whoever else, it's fair for them too.
what,
So,
what they would like too is they want a letter confirming that the spaces would be reserved for their use. I think last year or maybe a couple of years ago or something, they had someone park in a place that they needed or something like that, and they didn't have anything that they could say, no, we have this space or something. So they want some type of.
Well, they've got enough time right now to contact the people. I mean, we're all gonna get on the same page, and we gotta work together. So so let's send them a letter back stating that, we need to make sure, number one, I need a clarification. Do you need both sides of the street? If you do, we're not doing that. We're gonna do one side of the street. It's gonna be the south side, as far as I'm concerned from now on. With this thing that's going on this weekend, we'll deal with it now. But I think council, we basically need to say south side, like Elizabeth said.
If it's a Saturday, it's not a big deal because there's ample parking on a Saturday. The courthouse lot is empty, the bank lot is empty. Saturday isn't near
Right.
an issue as what a Friday
But
is.
it's like Elizabeth said, I said, most of the time when we passed up, it's always been on the south side of the street. The
And I think
cruisers,
that's the side they want, is
yeah,
just the
the
south side. They
cruisers,
don't want
the
it
cruisers
shut
always
down.
request the south side by the park.
They're not asking for the street to be
Right.
shut down.
No.
They're
Right.
just-
Yeah, it doesn't say anything about closing the street,
No.
so.
No.
But I think, like I just told the chamber, and I just said to you all, to make it fair for everybody, they need to contact everybody and say, hey, we're gonna be doing this on the 24th. We're gonna be doing it from, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's gonna be here. This is where it's gonna be, and then they can come to us and ask for the streets that they need. And we also need clarification, south side of the street. We're not gonna shut the whole street down on that. So we'll go from there. All right, so you make sure Sharon gets back to them.
Yes.
And ask her to tell Scott to get that back as soon as possible, if you can do that for us, so we can get. Okay. All right. Reference to the RV day parking in the depot. We talked about it last time, we tabled it. Chief, did you get a chance to kind of look at that situation down there?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I don't see any issue with it, other than I think we mentioned, my recommendation would be that if they do that, make sure that there's proper signage there to let them know what the rules of the park are, what the expectations are, and just to let them know that, if anything happens down there, who to contact and
Right.
such like that.
I think there's a lot more, planning that would have to be done. And,
Right.
If there's a fee where they can park, all this kind of.
Yeah, I don't
stuff.
see
And
if
then
the rules
are
signs
about trash.
Right.
About trash.
I don't
about
see a
food, about all
fee.
that.
There's a
Right
lot
now.
of stuff stored down there too.
Yeah. We'd have to make a section that they could actually,
Yeah,
like
not
the,
everywhere, and just
right.
if it's possible, if it's not possible and there's other things going on or the project or anything like that, not possible.
Yeah.
But just talking about business and like that, as many people as we can get to stop here is what we need to do.
Right. I mean, for right now, there's been people on the weekends I've seen that have parked down there with an RV because it's a parking spot.
I think we need to look at it.
Yeah, we need to do a little bit more, but I think it's probably, we need to figure out what kind of signage we would need, and we'll work with the chief on that. He can help us out.
I
And
think I need to talk to Rebecca a little more.
so like I said, let's go ahead and, continue to look into that. I think
Mark
it's
off for them.
probably a good idea. We just gotta figure out how we're gonna do
When
it.
it's, when it's
So.
both full, kind of thing.
And I know the boondocking is picked up, sorry, just a citizen's perspective. I
Right.
noticed we've got a lot of boondockers anymore, pretty consistent throughout the town.
Problem is, I don't want people boondocking down there all night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's where you pull in, you stay overnight, pull your generator out, like you see them at Walmart. That's called
Yeah.
boondocking.
Yeah,
What
it
has
seems to be
been
on the
brought
rise,
up-
though.
what has been
So it'd be
brought
nice to
up
make
is
money off of
nothing.
it somehow.
Nothing like that whatsoever.
Yeah,
It's a
like I
place for them to park through the day so they can maybe walk through town.
Oh.
I think the provisions of the land would not allow
Yeah,
that.
right now, we wouldn't be able
So
to
they
do
would
that.
have
So
to be.
we need to
leave
talk
by
to the train
8
depot
o'clock or
committee.
whatever.
We need to talk to, Streetscapes, because we're doing stuff down there, get their, opinion on everything, and then we'll see what we can do. So like I said, let's move on from that. Let's go to the Bath Development Authority. Nobody's here this evening. She was here last meeting, gave us kind of an update. Next meeting is the 3rd of this month, which is tomorrow at 4:30 at the courthouse. Parks and Recs, nobody's here. Their next meeting's 17th at the courthouse. Planning Commission.
Hey, Mr. Mayor. So we continue on with our weekly working groups on Monday. We wrapped up with the support of the chief and a lot of folks in here. And we began drafting for the next comprehensive plan, the public safety version. And we'll continue to draft it and identifying those objectives. And then once we get it in the draft, chunk, then we'll push it back to the various committees or folks responsible for those for their edits, et cetera. This week is our weekly meeting, our monthly meeting, Thursday at 5:00, and we have the BDA is going to come in, and for the next month we're going to be focused on their roles to support the town.
Okay.
Any questions for me?
Is there any questions for Larry? All right. Thank you, Larry.
Oh, just to leave you know, Travel Berkeley Springs has arranged for extra trash bins and pickup on Friday nights.
Yeah, I knew there was going to be extra trash pickup at
If
Dory.
anybody.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Rails and Trails.
All right, I'm hoping that between now and when we have a meeting at the end of May, that the package for the trail construction will have actually gotten out for bids. We keep asking for when's the letting date, and right after that, somebody else finds a problem in the package, and it goes through the cycle. It's the 11th hour. Nobody wants exactly to sign off on it, but it's in the process at a special portion of their contracting shop that does the design building spec. I keep in touch with Mark on that as best I can. So we'll have a session on the 31st. Streetscape, there's a good chance we'll have the next 30% drawings for the next phase sometime in the next couple of weeks. I'm hoping to get them in advance of the next Streetscape meeting, which is on the 18th. The idea being that's in work right now. The Thrasher's been here, checked everything out, listened to what we said, and now we'll get to see what they did. DOH will have to set up the actual preliminary meeting that at least a couple of you folks on the Streetscape committee, that would be Scott and Susan, would have a chance to look at the drawings before they come to town, because that's a Gary Grayley meeting, the engineers. So that's moving. And then the other thing y'all seen that we didn't get our grant for the next phase drawings, phase 6. Not a big loss because we never could have done it in time. So now I've talked to Mark, we're going to throw the same program in for the next round, which is due in a week or two for the intent to apply, and sometime in June for the full application. We're just going back with the same phase 6 streets that we did before. I think that's all I have. The big deal is that on the 9th of May, DOH is going to open the bids for the park project in town. And that's a big deal. No guarantees as whether there's actually enough money in the project to do it, but the Parks Foundation, they have a priorities list. And the number one priority is the reworking of the stream walls, the stone walls, and essentially the dredging of the bed, which will actually tie on to nicely what the other gentleman said about cleaning out the run under Washington. This is all before Washington Street, and that's part of the job. They're going to be coffer damming the walls in order to do the work, and that's the first priority in the project anyway. So finally, we might see something from DOH in a contract.
Wow. Anybody got anything for Peter?
Well, I have something, and I just thought of it. You bring it up to DOH, and this is something I was going to have to bring up this evening anyway, so I might as well talk about it now. The superintendent of the Morgan County DOH called me right before I came down here today, and Wilk Street is going to be paved on the 19th of May. It's going to be paved on the 19th of this month. I didn't even
Can
think
you
about it.
possibly get all the vehicles off the street by now?
Yeah.
Huh? Well, this is something that it's we got a couple weeks. I mean, it's not that it hasn't been out there, but now it's a
done
thing.
deal.
And he said it will take them one day.
Wow.
They've got some driveway work to do, so,
Just the north end.
just from Union Street to, St. George.
Are they doing curb to curb or just down the middle?
Curb to curb is what.
Yeah, they're
what I
gonna be
believe
doing,
because they're gonna
yeah,
do-
they're gonna do all the way out within that far of the side.
And they're not grinding it or anything, they're just capping it.
They're just capping it, 2-inch asphalt. So, I never thought I'd live to see it, but apparently it's gonna be, I'm sorry to put the pressure on, but
Well, that's,
it has to be. you know,
that's what I started when I got on council. That's originally why I got on council, so try to get Wilk Street paved, so.
Are you leaving council on the 20th?
What?
Will you be leaving council on the 20th?
Yeah.
Yeah, my resignation will be there.
I would like to bring up a point based on the park project. If they're gonna be working on the park project, they're gonna have equipment in there, they're gonna need to load the stone. You're gonna have to consider the street closings and food truck things when that.
Yeah, when that happens, it comes down, once it gets, we find out that the projects go, then we know. So,
Right, but those are things, all the little things that come up that need to be coordinated.
you guys wasn't here when we did Fairfax Street. We had a nightmare. Fairfax Street was closed down for how long? What, almost,
We were watching that from the outside.
almost
It
a
looked
year,
pretty
6
bad.
months, 8 months. So we actually did an apple butter festival with no bricks in
It was
the street.
surprising how
Really?
fewer
Yeah.
businesses were lost through that process.
Absolutely.
Just looking from the
You know,
outside.
so
John,
point well taken. Like I said, once we find out, then the council will know that we can't do anything else down there until that project's finished. So, but that, well noted. Okay, let's see, streetscapes, you did that for that.
Yeah.
Chief knows, I'll start getting my stuff moved down there.
Set a good example for your neighbors.
Yes, absolutely. My RV will be moved out where I usually park it at. So let's move on to the train depot.
The depot, of course, is still making project. We have a punch list that was given to us by the Mills Group. The Lance Construction is working on that. They're not down there every day like they were before because they have other jobs that are supposed to. They may not be down there this week. But it's a punch list of painting and nothing major, but there are things to be done. I'm, currently looking for money that may be available for the signage outside of the depot, the historic signage, the streetscape lights for the outside, interior, pictures, storyboards of the history, furnishings, the benches with the armrests and old desks and things like that, which is going to cost money. We've also talked about, we received a grant for electric vehicle parking, or we haven't received the grant, we've received an application for a grant. That would be possible down there. And so I've been talking with the Mills Group and the county commissioners about all these things. And so hopefully there'll be some money to show up because, as much has been done, there's still things that need done. And it's probably never ending, but that's what it is. That's what it is. So
Good
I'll
deal.
continue to work on it.
Good deal. Our Landmarks Commission, he's not here tonight. Their next meeting is 8:04. That's not right. That's gotta be 5:04.
No, 8:04, they're required quarterly.
Oh, that's right. They are, aren't they? Thank you. Okay, clerk and recorder's report. Did she leave anything other than the budget revision?
Just that this morning, her, Betty Kelly, and Joyce Jones did the drawing of the candidate names for the positioning on the ballots, and that was taken to the Morgan Messenger.
That's the next
Okay.
thing. And what we do have to vote on this budget revision, all of these, and I think you have that in front of you. If there are any questions, I'll try to answer, but I think it's pretty clear. All these are within departments. It's nothing that has to be approved by the state. The council does have to approve these in order for her to move this money. And this is year end, getting things straightened out,
where there were expenditures. So I make a motion that we pass the budget revision by Clerk Corey, that we pass the budget revision.
I second.
We have a motion and a second to do this budget revision. It's gonna be actually a budget revision that is done in the budget particular line item. We're just changing some line items around. So, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, good deal. You got anything else?
No, I
Okay.
don't think so.
Good deal. Let's move to tree board.
The tree board started its last meeting with the planting of the tree for Arbor Day in front of the 7-Eleven. And so that event took place and we followed up with the meeting. The survey that is going to be done for the trees within the town of Bath will beginning shortly. The survey will include all three of our cemeteries. So the survey is going to be much larger than we originally anticipated. So that's actually very good. The thing about the survey is it will not only identify trees, it'll identify dead trees that are hazardous that should come out. It will identify trees that are diseased, that perhaps that can be treated. So it's more than just identifying what kinds of trees we have within the town and within our cemetery. So it's going to provide us with some very useful information. Last point is that the town of Bath was once again awarded Tree City USA for 2023. So we,
Good deal. Good
Well done.
Yep. So
Good
we're
deal.
very, very proud about that as well.
Absolutely. All right, I skipped finance.
Sure did.
So we, that's my dyslexia going on, I just kind of jumble the numbers up. So anyway, finance, we need to pay some bills so that town can keep running. So-
All right, on behalf of that, I'd like to make a motion to pay the town of Bath bills in the amount of $4,235.19.
Second. All right, have a motion and a second on the floor to pay the town of Bath bills in the amount of $4,235.19. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
I would like to make a motion to pay the Berkeley Springs Waterworks bill in the amount of $5,565.84.
Second.
I have a motion and a second on the floor to pay the Berkeley Springs Waterworks bills in the amount of $5,565.84. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
I would like to make a motion to pay the cemetery bill in the amount of $4,475.
Second. I have a motion and a second on the floor to pay the cemetery bills in the amount of $4,475 even. Any discussion?
I just wanted to say, the $875 is for the General Barstow restoration of the headstone and the footstone, and that should be paid out of hotel motel, because that's what our money was awarded for us for last year.
Yes, we still had to put it on.
Yes, no, I
yes.
just wanted to make sure that that's where it was.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And I'd like to make a motion to pay the train depot bill in the amount of $900.
Second. I have a motion and a second on the floor to pay the train depot bills in the amount of $900 even. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. All right, we're done finance, Perry. Tree board's been done. Let's go to Grant. We have anything for Grant, guys?
No, nothing new to report
Okay.
this time.
All right, public safety?
I don't have anything. Our next meeting is May 16th at 4:45. I don't know if the chief has anything or not.
The only thing I'd like to say is that last week, a couple of my former colleagues from Charlestown Police Department gave me a call. They had some surplus equipment that they were looking to rehome, and we took possession of 3 handheld radar units. So we'll put those in service very shortly. And I think it would be appropriate if we send them a letter of thanks. And I can get with someone.
Sharon, get with
Yeah.
Sharon, see if she can or even Brianna here to draft a letter, so we can send and then get with me and I'll sign it. All right? Thanks, Chief. Thanks for everything you're doing. Appreciate it. This man here, people are coming to him, and I am very tickled to death. I mean, they're constantly, there've been times I've been in his office once or twice, he's getting calls from people, wanting to discuss what, to help him out, help us out, the town and the community, so.
And you look very sharp as well.
Thank you, I appreciate
Well,
that.
I've never really seen, like a put together, chief where I can put together a uniform.
I will tell you,
It
man,
looks sharp.
keep the good work up.
Yeah.
All right, cemetery,
I want to let everyone know that tomorrow in the Morgan Messenger, our RFP request for bids, proposals will be published for the first time. And this is for the mausoleum. We are hoping that we will get some interest and eventually some proposals. And we'll see what happens.
okay, good deal. Public Works, Rick isn't here. As far as I know, everything's going good. Haven't had any of the guys say anything's broke down or anything, so I guess everything's okay. Ordinance, we did not have a meeting this evening because I've been down the road working and wasn't able to, so we hit heads together on that because we got the
Policy.
the policy.
Policy.
No.
That thing that we-
See what happens?
One more day.
Just goes right out, So anyway, and I don't know if you have anything else to speak on that or not.
No,
So.
I don't. I haven't heard anything further on it.
Okay, good deal. And then Waterworks.
The water committee met yesterday. Just a couple things to note. First is that the water line replacement project is winding down. The substantial completion date is May 27th with full completion on June 27th. So, hopefully we'll be able to maintain those timelines and get this done. So, and then our new assistant water superintendent will start Tuesday, May 16th. So, Rick Mayhew. So, and the next meeting is listed on here as June 5th. We've actually went ahead and changed that to Monday, June 19th.
Rick Mayhew, M-A-Y.
MEHEW. Ball.
Say, I disagree. I'm going
No,
back.
it's MAYHEW.
Not a curveball.
MAYHEW.
I do have one question, Cornelius. Are they gonna pay that?
That's the plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanna know because I'm being asked and I said,
Yeah, no, that was part of the change order. So.
okay, good deal. All right, anything else?
No, that's
Good deal. All right, this come to the point of the meeting that anybody that wants to speak, you can get up if you about 3 minutes, and if not, if nobody wants to, then I would entertain a common consent to adjourn. Common consent.
So made.